God is present everywhere, so certainly He's present in His form as Lord Jagannath. Many of you may be aware that the Hare Krishna movement was started by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti-vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, who came to the West in 1965. And it was very miraculous. It was by Lord Jagannath, Lord Krishna's mercy, that one person was able to spread the Hare Krishna movement all over the world in such a short time. And one of the amazing things that Srila Prabhupada instituted and established were these festivals of Lord Jagannath. Sometimes the cart is manageable size, like this one. Sometimes the carts are almost as big as the ones in Jagannath Puri in India. Gigantic carts in different places. Sometimes there's one cart and sometimes there's three carts. A separate cart for each deity of Lord Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra. So yesterday I was wanted to come to Hartford by bus, and the bus had a flat tire. It's a big explosion, and the bus stopped for 2 hours. After that, in White River Junction, I got on another bus, and I was finally setting out to get to Boston so I can catch a bus to Hartford. And that bus had a brake problem, so it was very unusual. And I was thinking, this is the material world. It's a rough ride. There's always problems, difficulties. But you notice that Lord Jagannath, He gets a free ride. Lord Jagannath, He rides this way, that way, by His own will. It wasn't exactly that we were deciding, now we're going to go this way, now we're going to go that way. Krishna even says, Buddhir Buddhir Matamasmi in Sanskrit. It means, I am the intelligence of man. So this Lord Jagannath here, he was actually going wherever he wanted to go. And he had no flat tires, he had no difficulty. So this is the difference. Lord Jagannath is the supreme enjoyer. Jagannatha, Natha means the controller, the Lord of the Jaga. Jaga means the universe. So if God is omnipresent, certainly He's present with us in the form of Lord Jagannath. So Lord Krishna now as Lord Jagannath is here as the supreme enjoyer, and He's engaging us. This festival can be seen in so many different ways. It could just be seen as a nice event and a nice, somewhat very sunny day, not too sunny, perfect weather. A very nice cultural exchange, like cultural diversity. And here we have some Indian culture coming to Hartford, Connecticut. Of course, many of you come with Indian backgrounds, but many don't. So this is one level, a nice cultural festival. And we're all getting together, and we have music, and we have this very wonderful decorated cart that we're pulling around. You don't do that every day. So that's one, we're just getting together to have a good time. And that's okay. Lord Jagannath is smiling, watching us have a good time. Another level, though, is that we're actually performing a sacrifice. How is that? Well, you talk to the temple directors, husband and wife team, and their various assistants that put this, even though it's a relatively small-sized cart, but still a lot goes into planning this, so it's a sacrifice. And any one of you that pulled the rope on the cart, I made sure I pulled the rope a little bit, that's also, we're using our strength to help Lord Jagannath have a nice ride along the grass. So it's like a sacrifice, and sacrifice is so important. It's by sacrifice that everything goes on. It's only by sacrifice to God that we have anything, that we have rain, that we have sun, that we have a universe, and that we're able to live in this material world. And it's only by sacrifice to God that we can get out of this material world and go to His place. Another level is we can take it as yoga. Yoga has become so popular. So many yoga groups in Miami and other places. I'm usually often in Miami. So how is it yoga? What is the goal of yoga? The goal of yoga is to fix the mind on the Supreme and control the mind and the senses. So it's so easy to do that. We're practicing the ultimate yoga today, right now. Because here we are, seeing the Supreme Lord, so many bright colors. Look at these flowers here. They're just amazing colors. I wonder if they were dyed or not. Well, it doesn't matter. It's engagement for our senses. We're soon going to be, some of you have already, I don't know if they started distributing, but we'll have a wonderful prashada, that means spiritual food. So we'll engage the tongue. We're engaging the ears, we're engaging the intellect right now, trying to hear what this guy is saying. A few words, giving you some kind of a perspective or some kind of orientation about what's going on. But as I warned at the beginning, it's not so easy to understand because there's so much going on in this very pleasant Sunday afternoon get-together festival. And not only are we controlling our minds and senses by fixating in on Lord Jagannath, but we're also becoming united with the Lord, the Supreme Lord. And then, of course, there's the more what we can call internal aspect, the more esoteric aspect. There isn't in the Western world really much description of the more confidential pastimes of the Lord. I was in one Ratha Yatra in Philadelphia, and Srila Prabhupada got up and he said, this Ratha Yatra festival is the ecstasy of carrying Krishna back to Vrindavan. I was wondering how the many members of the general public, how they would take that, if they could understand that. I myself was trying to. So that in Puri, Lord Chaitanya, he was very, very involved because Lord Chaitanya was especially in his mood as Srimati Radharani, Krishna's eternal consort. And he was interacting with Krishna in the form of Lord Jagannath. That's the mysterious, inside, esoteric reason why the Ratha Yatra cart, and those were huge, huge carts, maybe at least 100 times, 100 times the size of this cart. That's the real reason why the carts were stopping and starting, because it was due to this very, very intimate interaction between Radha and Krishna. Krishna appearing as Lord Jagannath, and Radharani as the golden avatar, as that aspect, that mood of Lord Chaitanya, Mahaprabhu. And 500 years ago, and still today, there's a temple near Jagannath Puri, which is on the eastern coast of India. And it's in an area called Orissa. And Lord Chaitanya spent the last 24 years of his life deeply, deeply absorbed in the intimate, loving exchanges, the mood of intimate, loving exchanges with the Lord. And Lord Jagannath, he gets permission of the goddess of fortune to leave Dwarka, which is represented by Jagannath Puri. And then he goes to a place a few miles away called Vikundicha Mandir. Lord Chaitanya cleans that temple very, very, very thoroughly, just as we have to clean our hearts. And then there's some tension between the formal loving relationship that he has with the goddess of fortune, and then the more intimate loving relationship he has with the denizens of Sri Vrindavan Dham. So the Gundicha Mandir is not only a place for Lord Chaitanya, for Lord Jagannath to recuperate from a slight cold that he got at the mating ceremony, but it's also a place, it represents him going to Vrindavan also. So it's also considered non-different from Vrindavan, which is the most special place where Lord Chaitanya is intimately related with his devotees. So all these things going on. Cultural exchange, okay. Sacrifice, okay. Yoga, okay. If some of you are more absorbed in Krishna consciousness and you want to take it to its more confidential aspects, then the esoteric aspect, which I'm just giving a little hint of. You can find more about it in Chaitanya Charitamrita, although Srila Prabhupada recommended that first read Bhagavad Gita very, very thoroughly. Most of you have heard of Bhagavad Gita. So this is just, as I said, it'll just be a few words. It is actually very relevant. We need God now more than ever. This Krishna consciousness movement will go down in history as the movement that saved the world in its darkest hour. So we need God's presence. We need to invoke a personal relationship with God. We need to feel our dependence on Him. And therefore we need to serve Him, even in the most, how should we say, enjoyable way of serving, of carrying the Lord on His own car all around the park for a while and chanting His glories. And that's what we're doing today. And I humbly request that all of you follow up on this. Follow up on this by, I'm sure you have some, Srila Prabhupada's books. Where are the books located? Who can tell me? Where are the books? Okay, straight back.